Welcome to another episode. This is JR, founder and CEO of Social Market.
Hey, my name's Leon Hitchens, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Social Market.
Yeah, we have another episode for you at Social Ledger Report. Yeah, so we have a series of different things to cover from Coinbase. In this one post on Twitter, Brian Armstrong came out and said, hey, we're actually locked in, or shared a meme where the guy is like inclining into his chair, which is to show like, hey, I'm locking in. And then go figure, they released literally a shit ton of things, which all pretty exciting. So first thing that we'll talk about from Coinbase is they're doing on-chain USDC lending. This is Coinbase talking about earning competitive yields by lending your USDC. So too long didn't read. There's a new way to earn more from your assets. Lend your USDC and earn even higher rewards, all without leaving your trusted and easy-to-use Coinbase app. Lending is entirely powered by Morpho and Stakehouse Financial on Base. Stakehouse Financial on Base, that's such a cool name for crypto. I would have thought, okay, why is there a steakhouse on fucking crypto? Well, anyways, we are rolling out this integration to Coinbase users over the coming weeks in the US, excluding New York State, Bermuda, and additional countries. I think it's so interesting how in New York State this is not coming out because that's kind of like one of the crypto capitals in the US.
So, it is, but also that stuff is it's like headaches dealing with like New York and some of these bigger states. You often see that on crypto. They'll exclude certain states to buy and sell. New York is often one of them. California is one of them. Illinois. I occasionally will see like a Texas pop up in there too. Texas is pretty like weird on crypto rules. And then Washington, like those always pop up, but New York is like one of them.
I think Texas, which is where we live, they are becoming more and more receptive towards crypto. Before they were kind of like, we're probably just going to do whatever the SEC does and says. So, literally not thinking. But now it's kind of interesting to see their pivot into crypto. Well, anyways, so here Coinbase continues. How does lending on-chain work? So here it pretty much tells you. I'll read this one more paragraph, including more earning potential with USDC. So it says, you can earn even more on your USDC, all while keeping the familiar, easy-to-use Coinbase experience. Like with crypto-backed loans, we are providing an integration with on-chain lending protocol called Protocol Morpho to connect lenders and borrowers on a permissionless basis, all on Base. Once you deposit your USDC, a smart contract will be created by Coinbase to connect to the Morpho protocol via on-chain vaults curated by Stakehouse Financial, where the funds will be allocated across different lending markets to optimize returns and you instantly start earning yield. Your funds are accessible and can be withdrawn at any time when liquidity permits. So it's kind of like this liquidation window, which, if you're currently staking USDC or Ethereum, for instance, that's every day. So in this case, it could be similar suit just because daily rewards are a pretty common thing in the crypto space. So the last thing I'll cover here is more earning potential with USDC. USDC provides a reliable way to hold digital money as a widely accepted and highly liquid digital asset, redeemable one by one with the US dollar. Stability is not the only perk though. Coinbase gives you the chance to earn passive rewards 4.1 APY and up to 4.5 for Coinbase One members while you hold USDC in your account. So it's kind of like this, savings account yield that you see in some banks, which it's actually higher. I think Capital One used to be the highest saving account yield, which was closer to 4%, but now it's like 3.65 or something. So it's a small difference, but it can make a big difference when you have more and more money. But at a later post, Brian Armstrong talks about, Canadians. Right now, checking accounts is 0% in Canada, which means you earn 0 interest rate on your money. So from today, all Canadians earn 4.1 uncapped rewards on your USDC Coinbase. So they're barely releasing the lending and, the lending, I'm not sure if it's coming out in Canada yet, but it seems to be coming out in the US for now. But they're extending this interest rate that we just talked about to Canada, which is really cool.
I think the Canadian part and just like that is way more important than anything. If this extends across the world, there's going to be a lot of demand for this. there's so many
Yes.
countries in the world that hold US dollars because they know that either their currency is very volatile, or they just know that they're going to be able to do like currency arbitrage where the dollar gets more value compared to their currency and all of that. Argentina is a place where the hyperinflation happened.
Yep.
Like there's just so many countries that I think would turn around and go, wait, I can be paid in USDC and just spend it possibly in my home country with some sort of debit card that works anywhere and no foreign transaction fee possibly, and I'll get way better interest on it. Like I think that could be huge. I don't know if a bunch of countries will allow this on a regulatory perspective. This like risks other nations' currency, but it is something
Yeah.
very fascinating.
I mean, crypto is so disruptive in its nature, you know. I mean, the US had for a while there in the last administration, had a rough time accepting the value that this could bring to the world, which is, hey, you know, if you're from someone either in a high
High
inflation, anyway,
inflationary, inflationatory.
that's what I'm
There's a
thinking.
word for it.
Yeah, English is not my background. I'm literally ESL, or English second language. Well, anyways, long story short, crypto enables, access to money, which a lot of countries don't exactly have good access to money. I could talk about this for days, but just alone, crypto lets you get access to money. I mean, we already talked about airdrops, so that's one example. And then, here, through software, you can enable yields. So, I mean, this is why I'm in crypto. It's good to see this coming to other parts of the world. This is from Coin Republic, and this headline talks about Coinbase expands base with 3 huge announcements. What does this mean to the coin stock, which is for Coinbase? So this is part of more things they announced. As far as Coinbase goes, coming September 22nd, literally Monday, as a recording of this video, tomorrow, literally, Max 7 plus crypto equity index futures. And the too long didn't read is, on September 22nd, Coinbase Derivatives is expanding its product suite with the launch of equity index futures, introducing Max 7 plus crypto equity index futures, the first to offer combined exposure to both traditional equities and cryptocurrency ETFs. We're diversifying our US derivatives platform beyond single asset offerings for the first time, launching a new equity index product that provides thematic exposure to a wide range of innovation with growth assets. So yeah, I mean, they're expanding their capabilities with their index futures. I think it's pretty cool. I don't really do a lot of perpetuities or derivatives. I'm sorry,
Yeah, I don't.
derivatives.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you're into this, this is kind of huge because Coinbase is the most trusted. They did acquisition the platform who would be doing the derivatives. It was I forgot the name, but it was like the biggest one, and the deal was like in the billions. So it was a pretty massive deal, and through this, they're going to enable that. Now, if you ask me, I don't know how that'll work, but if I were to take a guess, you would probably just go to the Coinbase app and do all that from there. So they'll definitely reveal more on that. They might even do a little demo for anyone interested. So that was the other thing they announced, which I think it's a pretty big deal that they're going to release more assets that you can do index futures with. So now, this is what I think I am the most excited about. And going back to the Coin Republic article here. So last week we had Basecamp, and it's kind of like this little PR event where you had like main people on the base team kind of announcing and releasing different events, and also having like series of, I'm guessing it's with their team. No, it's with anyone who,
I think it was
I'm sorry.
creators, their team, and just people
Yes.
that are really active in the base network.
Yes,
Like
that's
I saw
exactly what it was.
creators there. I saw people that were friendly to Coinbase. Like it was just anybody like that's engaged in that platform.
Exactly. So some key insights according to the Coin Republic go, coin stock traders are keeping a close track on base expansion as it might help boost user involvement and potentially lift future Coinbase earnings. Then Coinbase's base team is dipping its toes into the idea of a native token which could go up some new ways to generate revenue down the line. And then tokens from Solana are said to become bridgeable to Base, giving users broader access to across ecosystems and smoothing out cross-chain interactions. So what that means is Now, Base is exploring the idea of releasing their own token, just how MetaMask released its stablecoin and now possibly releasing its own native token as well. Which, well, with Base, I understand because it's literally a blockchain. Base is a layer two, and you could use a native token to pay for gas fees, you know, send it itself or as a form of value, even trade on it. You know, there's so many things you can do with a native token on a blockchain, particularly to trade NFTs, trade or swap tokens, you name it. There's a lot you can do. So there's a lot of utility. So honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it sooner. But that is pretty exciting. So as far as some highlights that happened on Basecamp, this is from Crypto Slate. Coinbase's Base set sights on a 100 billion and 25 billion user in 2025. So what this means is the network seeks to secure 100 billion in on-chain assets, onboard 25,000 developers, and attract 25 million users by the end of the year. So, I mean, the Base app was released like July for beta. I still don't have my beta invite, but I know you do, Leon. So that's pretty cool. Can you tell us anything
Yeah,
about the Base app?
like I'm tripping over my words because it's not
You're good.
as fun as I expected it to be.
Really?
It's kind of like Farcaster. You know, you've got the mini
Okay.
apps, you've got the social feed, but the social feed is from Varcaster. So if you have the Farcaster app, in many ways, Base is pretty similar.
Okay. I
The
have it,
mini
so it
apps
makes
are
sense.
great, but like it's not something groundbreakingly new. Like Farcaster was doing this, and it's just there's a lot of overlap on that part. I really think that there's a lot of potential there. I'm not seeing the full picture. Like on the social component. Like everyone that's hyping up the social component, it's just Farcaster, on top of there. Now, the sending of USDC, that was a really fun thing. Like I generated the link to you, you claimed the link, and you got $1 like
Yes.
automatically. There was nothing for you to heavily do. I think that's super cool. I think there's a lot of potential in like the creator rewards and all of that, but like when you go to the app, there's a lot going on, and the social doesn't feel like as a core component of anything right now. It just feels
Really?
like everything kind of feels like it was added on and siloed. Though this might just be like my Americanism talking that I've never really liked any of these super apps like Line, WeChat. I don't really love their interfaces over there. Even Uber kind of is doing it with an Uber app and Uber Eats. It's interesting, but I'm not sure if I love it.
You know, it's really interesting because you're speaking from a consumer perspective, but also someone who really just likes the space. So I can see your ideas conflicting, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about execution and practicality. Like, if the app is not confusing or cluttered, then I can see it working 9 out of 10 times. With
Yeah.
super apps, it gets tricky. We don't have a super app unless, if you want to consider the base app, the newest super app on the US or on the West. So you mentioned that you could send USDC pretty easy, and you showed me this the other day, and I looked at it and I thought it was really impressive. So I think this is through text, and the demo shows the guy on his iPhone getting a message saying, "Hey, you claim your USDC," and then it routes him to the base app, which might be on the beta version. He authenticates, says, "Hey, I'm going to accept this," authenticates, and then he receives it. Now he still needs to download the base app, which he didn't even have, which I think is really cool. You don't even need to have a base app in order to accept your money. Now, we don't see more than that, but I think that onboarding sort of thing was really cool. It's like saying, "Hey, mom, here's $100 in USDC. Now, redeem it." Kind of shows you how to redeem it, I assume, once you download the base app. But that was very seamless. It was really cool. I like the UI and everything in there.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's kind of like Apple Pay. USDC, I think, is going to kind of become a core component of the internet faster and faster. Like, if I can just go pay and it's just sitting in a crypto wallet, like that's
Yep.
amazing. I heard somebody the other day tell me this is USDC kind of feels like cash because you
Yeah.
might have it in a big bank,
Yep.
but in reality, it's probably on your phone. It's probably in a wallet on your browser. Like it's a lot more like cash. And the MetaMask wallet might be like more like a bank, but you've got other applications where it's much different and it's more like a piggy bank or your wallet that you're holding that you have to kind of take cash out or transfer it. So I'm excited to kind of see this first iteration become more integrated. Like Google adopted it. Like they're talking about adopting these protocols. They're using like SUI and some other
Yes.
network to kind of do it. But more and more, it's becoming like, hey, maybe micropayments will become a thing. Like when I'm on Zora, if you like something, you actually buy it like 20 cents or 30 cents, whatever it is, and that's your way to show support and everything. So it's kind of the first step to like a more of what the internet was supposed to be when it first started.
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't used Zora enough, if I'm being honest. I use more Farcaster than anything for my on-chain social. I mean, I should go back into it. I think Zora has a really cool UI, and if they're doing new things, I think that'd be fun to explore.
Yes.
So people here in the comments are either sold on it, some aren't sold. Like Just Chief said, nah, only if it goes to Apple Pay or something that you got motion. And then Bobby Thacker says this is totally useless. The app clip is just an ad. You can send it to a real wallet if you have one, and you have to download the full app to do anything else. Haven't even touched on ramping. I'm new on base. This is from Sumit. I'm new on base, don't know any features yet, but sometimes I can't post anything. It's some kind of error. So Wizard says based as fuck. So bit of mixed features here, mixed feelings, but I think, a lot of what they have right now is breaking because it's still on beta. So it'll be a matter of time until it's released. So that'll be cool to explore.
Yeah, and I like that they're iterating in real life, and just like
Yeah.
that Meta AI glasses demo, which just kind of failed in the end. I'd rather see real life demos than just kind of fake, like produced stuff. Like
Yes.
it becomes too AI. If you saw Apple, everybody was
Apple's.
like, yeah, like literally the six
Yeah,
seven,
with the hand
and
gestures.
yeah, it just becomes so robotic. So I'd rather see
Yeah.
like real life testing and kind of iterating, and I think that's more of the ethos of the internet too. And startups is just kind of like you're moving fast, like things don't always work, and it's okay. Just like a human on stage is going to make mistakes, an application is going to get miscoded, or something's just not going to work, and it's a fringe case that becomes a normal.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I actually did like the Meta's, latest press, and this is similar fashion of what they're doing here on Base for Basecamp. I like that. I think it's authentic. I like the all visuals that Apple does. Just as a side note here, I really like the Apple's presentation visuals and camera angles, but everyone doing the same fucking hand motion is so stupid. I think it's so boring. So, anyways, so this is from Basecamp actually, and this is Jesse Pollack talking about an announcement where a new bridge between Base and Solana. For a better global economy to work, it needs to be interoperable and connected, not isolated and closed.
And to help make this vision a reality, I'm really excited that today we're launching a new bridge between Base and Solana.
So
I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. And it's built for developers. The goal of this bridge is to make it so you can build seamlessly across both Base and Solana with Sol, with ERC20s, and with FPL tokens. It lets you do three things. First, you can deposit and use Sol in any Base app. So if you're a developer building an app, you're just gonna be able to use Sol. You're gonna be able to bring over those balances and have it just work. Second, you can be able to import any Solana token into your Base app. So you can build on the economy that's growing there, help creators, do whatever you want seamlessly across the two ecosystems. And then third, you can be able to take Base tokens that you created and export them to Solana. So you can tap into the liquidity there. And this means for builders and creators, you get access to more users, more liquidity, more tools to build. And for users, it means it's just gonna work. The experiences that developers are gonna build are gonna take away the complexity. They make it dead simple. This bridge is now live on testnet, and integration is going on. We have incredible teams like Aerodrome and Zora and Virtual who are already starting to use this bridge today to make the best things happen between Solana and Base. And we want everyone else to use it too. So if you're interested in building on it as a developer, you can go to github.com/base/bridge. We're going to be around all Basecamp to help you get started. And we think this is a really, really powerful tool to help connect the Base and Solana ecosystem.
So that was Jesse saying how, yeah, you're going to be able to do all these cool things now in Solana and Base just by using their GitHub repo, which if you're watching this on YouTube, then we'll leave the link on the description below where you can access the post here. In that same post, you should be able to see the same link to access the GitHub repo. So it's pretty cool how it's available on testnet. For those of you who don't know, testnet's kind of like the developing or staging environment for building an app or building stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right, so we're almost done here. I know we still have quite a bit, but this is where I think it's exciting. So Base, this is from Cointelegraph, Base teases the launch of a native token at Basecamp 2025. So at Basecamp, Coinbase's layer 2 network, which is Base, said it's waiting a token launch to boost decentralization while unveiling a Solana bridge to expand cross-chain interoperability. So it must have happened not long after that announcement on bridging, which is kind of funny. So Base may soon launch a native token, creator Jesse Pollack said at the Basecamp event. According to Base, the new token could support decentralization and expand opportunities for builders and creators. We're in the early phases of our exploration and don't have any specifics to share around timing, design, or governance, the network said Monday. Base is a layer 2 blockchain built on Ethereum and incubated by Coinbase. It processes transactions off-chain before settling them on Ethereum. So it's actually cool how Base works. It's actually, I don't think there's any other network that does that where it validates the transactions off-chain. It launched in 2023. The network has become the most widely used Ethereum layer 2 blockchain, with data from Token Terminal showing about 20.8 million monthly active addresses over the past 12 months. Base is literally becoming the most popular layer 2 on Ethereum, which is really interesting. I thought it would have been, well, I think for a while it was Polygon or Arbitrum. I know their developer base is getting pushed right now. Like Arbitrum is pushing in liquidity to developers.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really cool to see Base doing all these cool things and seemingly being the #1 most active network on Ethereum. Cool stuff. We'll see what happens with this token. They haven't said any specific things about it. You can read this article. We'll leave it in the description on YouTube as well. This is from coinfomania.com. It says, Brian Armstrong fuels creator coin boom on Base. So this is where another announcement was made, and this is kind of the last one for Coinbase this week, where it says Zora is going to be integrated on Base to some capacity, and this is from Coinfomania saying Brian Armstrong fuels creator coin boom on Base. Brian Armstrong's Balages token buy fuels creator coin momentum on Base as Coinbase app integration with Zora drives adoption. So I haven't used Zora as much, but I think it does this cool thing where you can mint creator coins and have your own creator coin, which funny enough, I think we first saw this with DeSo, which is short for decentralized social, as a layer 1 blockchain. They had this issue with the SEC like summer last year, and that kind of pushed them off the grid because they've been dealing with the SEC now. So who knows? Let's see how Zora integrates it into Base. I think that'll be really cool. Anyways, this article continues. Brian Armstrong's decision to buy nearly 5 million Balages token on Base instantly shifted the spotlight onto creator coin projects. The purchase was only about $40,000, but the influence of Coinbase's CEO carries far more weight than the transaction size. By posting the screenshot publicly, he turned what could have been a quiet trade into a signal that many interpreted as institutional endorsement. In markets like this, narrative often matters as much as capital, which it's very true. I mean, imagine if you had A16C investing, or not even investing like $1 million checks, but like just $40,000 into someone's creator coin. A16C is the biggest VC firm in crypto. That's why I make that reference. That'd be huge. Anyways, so one more thing I'll say here is Balages token and Coinbase's ecosystem push. The Balages token itself is tied with Balaji Srinivasan's personal brand and distributed through Zora, which has been driving much of the recent growth on Base. What stands out is not just the token, but how Coinbase is leaning into the ecosystem. Jesse Pollack's announcement that creator coins from Zora can be brought directly into the Coinbase app changes accessibility. It lowers friction and makes social finance feel less like an experiment from insiders and more like a product that millions of crypto users could interact with easily. One more thing I'll mention here is kind of like how it works. Base's numbers suggest this shift is real. Since July's launch of Coinbase app, Zora has facilitated over 1.6 million creator coins minted. almost 3 million unique traders, and more than 470 million in trading volume. On July 16th, there were 7,557 token launches on Base. The day after app integration, that number jumped to over 22,000. That's not a coincidence, it's a sign of how disruptive channels directly influence adoption. The design of Zora's system explains part of the momentum. Every post generates a token. Each creator coin has a fixed supply of 1 billion, half of which streams to creators over 5 years, while the rest floats to the market. A small fee from each trade flow back to the original creator in Zora tokens. In simple terms, the attention turns into tradable assets and engagement becomes income. That's a very different model from an ad-driven platform where creators fight algorithms for visibility. And you can read more of it if you'd like. I mean, that's kind of like the inherent value of creator coins, which you and I have talked about before, Leon, with WebC, what it once was. We were on the DSO ecosystem. Now we're, building something entirely different. I mean, it'd be cool to see. I mean, I think it's in the realm of possibility to add creator coins, trending creator coins on social market, which is kind of like where the name came from originally, social market, where we combine creator coin or creator economy on the blockchain. Kind of a
Yeah, I'm really
little
interested to
hint
see
there.
it because creator coins have been a discussion from the start of crypto. Like, how do you pay creators? How do you compensate? Base, I think, has a system to do it. I think Zora did it well, but also I think there needs to be that flashpoint moment that everyone's like, oh yeah, I
Mhm.
can adopt it. Like Twitter, X, Elon did it with the X. He was able to get people to pay for social media. Meta's now rolling out verification. They're rolling out all this stuff. Like the true creators are really adopting it. You've got a Facebook, you got Instagram verification now. LinkedIn has always had that built in. Like there is a huge opportunity to figure this out with Web3. It just has not been done. And if Coinbase can get closer and closer to that, I think that there's a huge opportunity because I think right now the big gap is how do some people get money? Like I think if everybody's getting money, it incentivizes the people to create. But if like a small portion of people only get money and everybody's just funneling money in there all the time, I don't think on the long run anybody's going to be happy with that. Like there needs to be a path where if your comment gets a ton of engagement, you get money too. If your profile is engaging and doing things, like it can get money as part of the fund because it's helping the community be helpful. Like I think there needs to be a distribution of that to encourage people to kind of keep adding money and keep funding this
Yep.
whole system.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, creators on YouTube or anywhere on the internet, they rely on the platform giving them a sizable amount of their income. But when the income isn't there because of whatever reason, then people set up their Patreon and they rely on small dollar donations from their fans, which is usually, kind of like a very popular thing to do. And if you're a streamer on Twitch, you have people subscribe to you, which you don't get ads, and you kind of get other perks from the streamer. It's all very personalized. I can easily see this transitioning into crypto. And crypto is kind of just the whole purpose of it is to make money more accessible, make it easier to use. I can see this playing out very well in the next decade or so.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty excited. And I think Coinbase is doing a great job so far at kind of putting a spotlight into this because people don't know better. People are kind of like, oh, it's crypto is the boogeyman, or oh, I just don't understand this, and then they'll disregard it. But when they see big players like Coinbase putting a spotlight into it, pushing efforts, then yeah, I mean, this is a lot more realistic for most people.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated.